first and foremost, we're going to share this viewer discretion advised, really, if you're a parent like I am, of this video of an autistic teenager being dragged out of her house by British police. And her crime was telling the police officer, allegedly, I think this was shared originally by her mother, was telling the police officer that she looked like her lesbian grandmother. Let's have a look. I think only part of the clip has audio.
She's made a comment in her own house. You've got her on camera. She hasn't said anything to you. Don't matter. She never got cameras on. She's getting arrested. She's getting arrested. Why are you doing? Unit's coming. Don't worry. She hasn't done anything.
I think that's the lesbian grandmother.
She's
look-alike.
I'm telling you, I've got Unit's coming. She's going to be arrested tonight. Wait till the police officer's coming on. Like, explain what happened.
That's why we got her on the first place.
Fucking bitch, what me if I get put this on me. Calm down. She's autistic. Can you stop staring at her, please? She's got autism. Can you just stand there? She's in a cupboard. She can't go anywhere. She can't go anywhere. Stand there, dear. They're going to remove her for what? Because you're bothered. That she said the word lesbian. Her nana is a lesbian. She's married to a woman. She's not homophobic. Look what you're clenching your fist. Go away from my teenage daughter.
What is up with you?
There's something wrong with you, mate. She didn't aim it at the police officer.
It's not homophobic remarks at my colleagues.
It's not a homophobic remark. She said, I think she's a lesbian like Nana.
She called. If you want to bully people, you'll just get one of them badges there. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd it go? Where's this? Does it go right under there?
She's autistic. She don't like people touching her. She will have a meltdown. She won't come out. She's got autism. I'm Lisa.
Talk to her so she can come out. Because we're trying not to do this, aren't we? We've been trying for a long time.
But she hasn't done nothing wrong. That officer out there has assaulted me for no reason. She's got autism. She's autistic, man.
The issue is, if an officer decides to arrest her...
She wasn't arrested. They brought her up.
She's under arrest.
No, but she was going upstairs and she made a comment to me and that officer ran in my house and assaulted me and tried to get to my daughter for now.
If you want to make a complaint about any of it, that's fine.
I am going to.
Will have been on.
I am going to. Yeah, because it is on and she has.
She's now under arrest.
She was full of rage and she ran in the house and she barged me into this corner.
Yeah, I think the audio cuts out again and they just show this poor teenager being escorted out of the house and detained.
So much to unpack there. But first of all, I want to address...
Oh, and she also, they're saying here that she has scoliosis and a twisted spine. So the way that they were handling her was likely to cause her a lot of pain, in addition to having autism and being obviously under duress.
But Tamara Ugolini, I'm struggling here to determine what the crime is. It says in the copy that she referred to a police officer that she looked like her lesbian nana. Now, I remember once upon a time, like I'm going back to high school days, 1970s, you would use the word gay as a disparaging term, like, oh, that's so gay, meaning, you know, it had nothing to do with a man having a intimate moment with another man, but it was just that, you know, that's bad, that's square, that's uncool. But I would argue in 2023, Tamara Ugolini, saying you look like my lesbian nana, that's like a badge of honor. Aren't we supposed to be embracing the spirit unicorn community? Isn't, you know, being referred to in a positive way as a lesbian a good thing? That's what's, I think with Pride Day, Pride Week, Pride Month, Pride Season, probably next year, Pride Year, isn't that what we're being shoved down our throats? You know, that gay is good, and if it's good, it's gay. So I don't see the problem. I mean, if her nana is a lesbian, and, you know, so be it, and she just uses the word lesbian, it's just as a descriptor of her nana. It's not as a disparaging term. Am I interpreting this correctly, Tamara Ugolini? Because at the end of the day, I don't know where the crime is.
Well, likewise, and I don't think there is actually a crime, but regardless, there's nothing stood in the place of this obviously triggered police officer who I would say probably is some form of identifying LGBTQIA 7+, whatever it is these days, QQAA community, because this is a clear instance of the police being on a power trip based on their own inability to manage their emotions. Like someone making a comment, and we don't know all of the details. Obviously, this is just the one side of the story. I mean, the video pretty much speaks for itself that this child didn't look like they were putting anybody at risk, huddled up in a closet in her home with her parents very much there and aware of the situation. But the West Yorkshire Police did put out a statement just today on this incident, and it says that this was a 16-year-old girl who was reportedly intoxicated and putting herself at risk in Leeds city centre. They drove the teenager to her home so she could be appropriately looked after. And I guess upon returning to the address, comments were made which resulted in the girl being arrested on suspicion of a homophobic public order offense. The nature of the comment, yeah.
But Tamara Ugolini, how is that homophobic if she has a lesbian nana and she just says, you look like my lesbian nana, especially in the context of our young millennium, I don't see the homophobic element to this here. But there's other things at play here. First, it's the overkill. What was that? Maybe half a dozen police officers to arrest a 15-year-old girl? And secondly, this is one of the most brutal policing examples I've seen in many a moon, Tamara Ugolini. Why didn't they, once they learned about her autism, couldn't this have been hashed out with verbal dialogue, at worst a verbal warning? Couldn't they have gone to that precious offended female police officer who may or may not be lesbian? It's so confusing, this story, and say, listen, this young lady, she's suffering from autism. She probably didn't realize that she was saying something offensive to you. So we've told her, please don't use that language again with this officer, and can we call it a day? No, they're going to haul her off to jail. And finally, that's an interesting allegation that she was inebriated. Is this proven, Tamara Ugolini? I mean, or did they think that her autism was her being drunk?
That's a great point. No, it's not. I think the wording that they used, reportedly intoxicated and putting herself at risk. But the kicker with their press release here is they take their responsibility around the welfare of young people taken into custody and around neurodiversity very seriously. We also maintain that our officers and staff should not have to face abuse. This is the second last sentence. Should not have to face abuse while working to keep our communities safe. And, you know, they note in here as well that there was body cam footage and so on and so forth. They want people to avoid reaching any conclusions, but they're fully reviewing the circumstances of the incident, apparently. And like, it's just more in line with this, the fact that, you know, a comment like, you look like my lesbian grandmother or my lesbian nana is somehow spun into putting people at risk of being unsafe and hateful. This is just insanity, that this can be spun this way. And obviously these officers, as I mentioned, or this officer in particular, is triggered by this comment when, you know, this is just taking things way too far.
Well, first of all, if you are a police officer and you're triggered by words, you're in the wrong profession. Let me tell you that much. But you know what? The Yorkshire Police, with that release, Tamara Ugolini, just dug themselves a 6-foot deep grave because they're inferring that to be called a lesbian is hateful. But I thought being gay, being lesbian, being bi, oh, especially being trans. I thought that's diversity and equity and inclusion and, oh, the rainbow mafia spirit unicorns are such wonderful people. So you can't have it both ways. You can't embrace this community and at the same time say that lesbian is a derogatory term. It isn't.
Yeah, or somehow abusive. Somehow abusive. This is words are now abuse, apparently.
Yeah, because
to an
Tamara
officer
Ugolini,
dropping off a 16-year-old.
Yeah, if she had said, you know what, you remind me of my heterosexual nana, would there be a hue and an outcry? You know, maybe. I think we're supposed to use cisgender, which I never use. It sounds too much like sissy. But, you know, this is an invented offense, and it looks like the Yorkshire police are trying to cover up their egregious and outrageous behavior by suggesting that she was drunk. And good luck. I wonder if they gave her a breathalyzer, because that's a hell of an allegation. And good luck, you know, proving that in court. This is just absolutely despicable. I got to tell you, Yorkshire must be the safest place in England, Tamara Ugolini, because if you can send a half dozen cops to arrest a 15-year-old autistic girl for a thought crime, I suppose there must be no real crime there. There's no robbery or sexual assault or murder. So maybe we should rethink moving there, Tamara. I'd love to live in a safe place, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and more we see that happening across various jurisdictions where police are responding to these nonsensical allegations. And meanwhile, drug use, robberies, crimes, stabbings, like we see in Toronto, specifically on public transit, they go on unabated. So this is just the tale of how society is being slowly degraded by the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, where someone's words can trigger such forceful treatment.
Hey folks, that was a clip from the daily live stream. I co-host it Monday to Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Alberta team takes over on Friday. Please tune in. And by the way, we want to hear your 2 cents worth. If you're able to make a minimal $5 donation, we will read your chat on the air live. Thank you.